Hello, and welcome to another weekly supplier diversity and small business economic impact report. I am your pseudo host. I don't know. I'm your host, Jamie White, and today I'm going to be discussing, the big news that happened throughout the week that is definitely impacting the way that we do business. As always, definitely appreciate all the support and the views and the listens. And if you enjoy everything that you're listening to or watching, please like, subscribe, share with all your friends, and definitely leave a comment. Ask questions and let us know how we're doing here. So first up, for this week, as you are aware, I am sure, the government is shut down, and since it's been shut down, I believe today is day 21. Uh, it says it on one of these pieces, but it's been a couple of weeks now. We are starting to get the numbers back on how much it's affecting our economy. We're still in the early stages, but we just passed. This is the officially the third longest, I believe, shutdown, creeping into the second longest. Based on what's going on, it's probably going to be. It has a good chance of being the longest. I think the longest happened in the 90s. So we're right on schedule. If you're interested in making government shutdown history, you may get your wish. But now that we're getting the numbers back on how it's affecting the economy, we're seeing how it's affecting specifically small businesses. So I read an article from the Washington Post, but this one just had a couple more things on it too. But it essentially said that it's about 300 loans a day are unable are not able to be, I guess, collected or confirmed for small businesses. So I just think about that 300 loans a day, which it just continues to add up. But in addition to that, as you can see, small business loans are affected. Other things that are affected are IPOs. They're clearly being pushed back because of the partial closure, as you can see, of the Securities and Exchange Commission, which is huge here. It's affecting the way people are doing business currently, especially those with government contracts, because even though the DoD, so Department of Defense, is open, there are other. We're seeing businesses who have contracts with other parts of other departments in the government. So, for example, like NASA, since it's not open, as you can see here, uh, unfunded agencies such as Homeland Security and NASA, people with or companies with contracts with those companies are obviously not in a very poor position because they will not be getting paid for those specific contracts. In addition to that, uh, I may have skipped over it, but in addition to that, one of the things that you that you don't really think about is craft breweries, right? So a lot of people who are trying or companies that are trying to launch new beers need approval from the Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau, but because it's shut down, they're unable to get those licenses, so they're not able to push out their new beers for the new year. Which I mean, this is probably hitting them pretty hard. I mean, New Year, probably a ton of opportunities for people to try new beers. So that's definitely hitting them as well. So there are some surveys. Obviously, with us, we really don't like to get too political. We try to, if if a legislation passes that's good for small businesses, we report on it. If we believe it's negative for small businesses, we report on that as well. But there's a survey, and it lets you know in terms of like who the public is blaming, which take from that what you will. But as you can see from the long run, I mean from the just kind of the overview, like this is affecting small businesses, um, small businesses, big and small, and and it's definitely unfortunate. So yeah. Next up, uh, top five small business trends to monitor in 2019. This is from Forbes. Uh, Kind of wanted to go over it. So there's a couple of things that you could probably guess. The first one, the tight labor market, and obviously all of last year we were talking about how small businesses are struggling finding qualified suppliers or qualified employees. I apologize. Now, what we're a lot of people are estimating is that second half of this year, there's probably going to be a slowdown with the economy. So getting qualified employees now so that you can be prepared for that slowdown is important. Next up, the importance of health and wellness. Now, Number two and number four actually go together. I'm surprised they weren't back to back. So as you can see, the importance of health and wellness that really gets into obviously healthcare and whatnot. But if you skip over the rise of the remote worker real quick and emphasis on wearable technology, apparently that's also going in healthcare. I found this pretty interesting. Wearable technology such as what is it, Fitbits and or Apple Watches as part of company-sponsored wellness initiatives. So as you can see, companies are now sponsoring different initiatives to help their employees have good health, which is always a positive. So I found that interesting. And again, these are just trends to watch for. So I have noticed that more people are wearing wearable technologies. So if that's something that you're noticing as well, you may want to, I don't know exactly how you can like invest in that market or take advantage if you're offering something that is compatible with wearable technologies. But definitely check that out. And I like touched my touched my wrist, like you could see that. But the rise of the remote worker, obviously, when we're talking about this new age office space, that would just be included in that. So nothing new there. And then consistent and transparent employee communication. Again, we're talking about that office space. How do you communicate? Uh, how do you adjust to the changing demographic when it comes to workers? So that will always, those two specifically will always be things you need to watch out for. But wearable technology, definitely check that out. Now, next up, Chinese growth is more of a concern than the American economy right now. Private, private bank says. I 100% agree with that. If you're not aware, the Chinese economy did suffer under slower growth last year. A lot of that had to do with the American tariffs hitting the Chinese market, and it's definitely something that is more of a concern for investors, as well, not even investors, people who are purchasing items, small businesses who are purchasing items from China as well. So as you know, and we reported about this last week, U.S. and China are still undergoing their trade negotiations. You want to watch that until the end of January, I believe. That's kind of what they said. That was the timeline that they said that they would be negotiating. So we'll probably report a little bit more on that come end of January, beginning of February. But for right now, excuse me, for right now, watching the Chinese market is definitely something that uh, need to take a look at. Now, according to this article, they think that it's for right now it's going to be a little bit troubling signs, but they think it's going to bounce back for the later half of the year. I'm going to reserve my judgment until again that late January, early February comes around because again, now that the Democrats have the House, whatever negotiation that happens, the Democrats will be able to get a say in this, and you know, um, we'll see how that goes, especially when they're already arguing over a wall, and now uh, now we're going to have again the NAFTA deal that Democrats are going to take a look at pretty soon, and now we're going to have this other trade deal. So it's going to be rough these next couple of weeks for if you're doing business with Mexico or China and looking for this new trade deal, these new trade deals coming forward. Hopefully, I feel like small businesses are part of the group of people that are being held hostage right now, and it's probably going to continue. So unfortunately, but it is what it is. As you again, try not to be either Democrat or Republican. We just try to list the facts. So as you can see, if the shutdown lasts 2 more weeks, the cost of the economy will exceed price of Trump's wall. Where does it say it? According to an estimate by S&P Global Ratings, oh, that's ARs. It will only take another 2 weeks to cost the economy more than 6 billion, exceeding the 5.7 billion that Donald Trump demanded to fund his proposed border wall. The U.S. economy will have lost 3.6 billion by Friday, which is today. So as you can see, 3.6 billion in has been lost, and that's been estimated based off of like productivity. What we could have been doing had the government been open. Obviously, we talked about the contracts that people could be working on for these departments that have closed, as well as loans that have not been given out to small businesses. Pretty sure that's included in there as well. So there's a lot of things that we could be doing with the government that we're just not doing because of the closure. You hear the 800,000 employees that aren't getting paid. That's another one. I believe it says it in here. Uh, let me see. Yep, consumer spending. So when it talks about consumer spending, just some of the companies that are being affected. So like Best Buy, Bed Bath and Beyond, Walmart, Kroger. Again, you got you know employees as well as small businesses who have employees that can't get loans, that could be paying their that could be paying their employees, and those employees could be spending it throughout the economy. Obviously that's not happening right now, so it's negatively affecting our GDP, which is unfortunate, and there does not seem to be an end in sight. Now, obviously, because of that, GDP forecasts are cut. I mean, this is just pretty basic. I'm pretty sure you're aware of that. So, unfortunately, that's just where we are right now. Now, with that being said, I wanted to leave on a bit of a good news, a bit of a good mark. It's just negative news, negative news, and then we have this, which is good news. So Wells Fargo sponsors capacity building for women businesses in STEM. So Wells Fargo over the past 2 years has been focusing on increasing the amount of female-led businesses and STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So if you're in those fields, Wells Fargo has been trying to reach out and making sure to increase those businesses so that they can help them expand. You can kind of read this. It's mentorship program as well. Million Women Mentors Entrepreneurship Initiative, which goes with what it says, trying to increase and aid million female entrepreneurs on a global perspective, which obviously we can all agree is a good thing to do. It makes sense, and it's something that is definitely needed. So yeah, you can definitely check it out. But definitely wanted to talk about this. Um, congrats, or yeah, congrats. And I think this is a really good thing that Wells Fargo is doing, and they're something that they've been doing for I think it's year two now, and they're looking to continue that specifically for STEM. So there you go. Now, with that being said, one of my shorter ones, but as always, I definitely appreciate you guys coming in, checking on the news of the week, listening to what we have to say, and going about your day. And hopefully, you're using the news that we're reporting on to the best of your, or to the benefit of you and your company. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, definitely let us know. Please like, share, comment on the video, and subscribe. With that being said, thank you so much and have a great day.